How often should you be masturbating after 60? Every day? Once a week? Not at all? Here's what most urologists won't tell you. The wrong frequency can silently damage your prostate, weaken your erections, and drain your energy. But the right rhythm can strengthen circulation, balance hormones, and keep you performing like a man 20 years younger. I'm Dr. Laura Bennett, and after 15 years helping men reclaim their vitality, I can tell you this. There's a perfect frequency that works for your body, your energy, and your health. Not too much, not too little, just enough to keep your sexual system thriving. Today, I'm going to reveal the exact masturbation rhythm that protects your prostate, strengthens your erections, and maximizes your energy after 60. You'll learn why every 3 to 5 days is the sweet spot for most men, how to tell if you're doing it too much or too little, and what supportive habits multiply these benefits. By the end, you'll understand how to keep masturbation as a positive part of your health instead of something that leaves you feeling drained. This isn't about shame or outdated myths. It's about understanding your body's needs and working with them so you can enjoy your sexuality for years to come. You're not broken. Your body is evolving, and when you work with it instead of against it, you can enjoy vitality, pleasure, and confidence for decades. To truly understand how often you should be masturbating, you first need to appreciate why frequency matters in the first place. Masturbation isn't just a quick, isolated act. It's an event that involves your entire body. The moment you become aroused, your heart rate begins to climb, your blood vessels expand, and your pelvic muscles engage in rhythmic contractions before finally releasing. Meanwhile, your brain is flooding you with dopamine for pleasure, oxytocin for relaxation, and a cascade of other neurotransmitters that influence everything from your mood to how deeply you sleep later that night. Your prostate also plays a vital role in this process, producing and releasing fluid as part of your natural reproductive function. This release isn't just about pleasure, it's also a form of maintenance. Like any other gland in the body, the prostate benefits from regular activity to keep its tissues healthy, its ducts clear, and its blood flow robust. When you were younger, you could go through this entire cycle and be ready to go again in no time. Your blood vessels snapped back into action quickly, your hormones rebounded, and your nervous system recovered with ease. But after 60, your recovery system slows down. Blood doesn't circulate quite as quickly, testosterone production may not be as steady, and your nervous system may take longer to return to baseline. This isn't a reason to stop. It simply means you need to find a rhythm that allows your body to fully restore itself between sessions so each one remains satisfying instead of draining. If you go too long without any sexual activity, your erectile tissue can lose some of its responsiveness, your pelvic floor muscles can weaken, and your mood may take a hit because you're missing out on the feel-good hormone release that comes with regular climax. On the flip side, if you do it too often without adequate recovery time, you may start to notice fatigue, a dulling of sensation, or even irritation in the prostate area. The art here is finding that sweet spot. So, what does science actually say about the perfect frequency? In one notable Harvard study, researchers discovered that men who ejaculated regularly, roughly 4 to 7 times per month, had a lower risk of certain prostate problems compared to men who did so rarely. This steady activity helps prevent congestion in the prostate, keeps blood moving freely through the area, and maintains the flexibility of the arteries that supply blood to the penis. There's also a direct link to nitric oxide, a molecule your body needs for erections. Nitric oxide relaxes and opens blood vessels, so blood can surge into erectile tissue. Without enough of it, even if you feel mentally aroused, your body may struggle to create the firmness you want. The challenge is that nitric oxide production naturally declines with age. That's why regular, but not excessive, sexual activity can be a vital part of keeping your system responsive. But here's where it gets personal. Your ideal frequency depends heavily on your recovery capacity. A man who exercises regularly, eats nutrient-rich foods, stays hydrated, and sleeps deeply may be able to enjoy himself more often without negative effects. In contrast, a man managing health conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or chronic fatigue may need more rest between sessions. I had a patient, Vincent, a 66-year-old retired postal worker, who came to me exhausted and confused. He said, "Doc, I'm masturbating every day like I did when I was 30, but now I feel drained, my erections are weaker, and I'm always tired." I told him to switch to every 4 days. 6 weeks later, he came back grinning. He said, "My energy is back, my erections are stronger, and I actually enjoy it again." For most healthy men over 60, a rhythm of once every 3 to 5 days strikes the perfect balance. It's frequent enough to maintain healthy circulation, nerve responsiveness, and prostate function, while still giving your body the recovery time it needs to restore hormone levels, recharge your nervous system, and keep your performance feeling strong and natural. So, how do you know if you've crossed the line into too much territory? Your body is constantly giving you signals. The challenge is whether you're paying attention to them. One of the first red flags is when your erections start to feel noticeably weaker, even when you're genuinely aroused. That's your vascular system hinting that it's under more strain than it can currently handle. Think of it like overtraining at the gym. The muscles don't have time to recover, so they don't respond as well the next time you need them. Another sign is waking up the next morning with that heavy, sluggish feeling in your body or a fog lingering in your mind. This isn't just getting older, it's your nervous system quietly saying it hasn't had enough time to fully reset. During sexual activity, your brain and nerves work hard to coordinate arousal, muscle contractions, and the release of pleasure chemicals. Without enough downtime afterward, you can end up in a subtle but lingering state of depletion. Reduced sensitivity is another clear warning. If you find you need more stimulation than usual to feel the same level of arousal, or your climax feels less intense, that's your body waving a yellow flag. Overuse can temporarily desensitize nerve endings, making it harder to reach peak pleasure and satisfaction. Some men also notice a dull ache, pressure, or heaviness in the pelvic region. This can be a sign of prostate irritation, essentially your gland telling you it's been overworked and needs a rest. And let's not forget mood. When dopamine is pushed too high too often, your brain compensates by pulling levels back down. The result? A drop in motivation, irritability, or even mild depression once the initial high fades. The good news is, these signs don't mean you've caused permanent harm. They're like warning lights on your car's dashboard, a signal to ease up and let the system cool down. A few extra days of rest is often all it takes for sensitivity, mood, and performance to bounce back stronger than before. Now, on the other side of the equation, there's such a thing as not doing it enough, and this is where many men unknowingly harm their long-term performance. The penis is made up of spongy erectile tissue that thrives on regular infusions of oxygen-rich blood. Without consistent erections, whether from partnered intimacy or solo activity, that tissue can lose some of its elasticity and flexibility. Over time, this can lead to microscopic scarring, a process known as fibrosis, which makes it harder to achieve and maintain firmness. Your prostate also benefits from regular maintenance. Just like flushing out old oil from a car engine keeps it running smoothly, emptying the prostate periodically helps reduce congestion, inflammation, and the risk of certain long-term issues. Letting fluid build up for too long can create discomfort, pressure, and even contribute to conditions you'd rather avoid. There's also the psychological and hormonal piece. Regular sexual activity, even solo, helps regulate your mood by releasing endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin. Without this periodic release, stress hormones like cortisol can dominate, leaving you more tense, less patient, and less motivated. So, if it's been weeks without any activity and you're finding it harder to get or keep an erection, or you're feeling more tension in your pelvic area, your body might be sending you a polite but urgent invitation to get back into a healthy rhythm. For most men, every 3 to 5 days prevents the stagnation while keeping the system active and responsive. So, how do you figure out what's truly right for you? The answer isn't hidden in a magic number you read online or a rigid rule from a chart. It's found in how well you listen to your own body's signals. Every man's physical resilience, recovery speed, and hormonal balance are different, especially after 60. What feels perfectly balanced for one man might be too frequent for another. That's why the best starting point is a practical one. For many men, every 4 days tends to strike a comfortable balance between keeping the system active and giving it the downtime it needs to recover. Once you've picked a starting rhythm, treat it like an experiment. Pay close attention to how you feel physically. Is your energy steady throughout the day? Do you wake up with natural morning firmness? Do you feel a pleasant sense of relaxation afterward without being overly tired? If the answers are yes, you're probably in the right zone. But if you notice you're feeling run down, mentally foggy, or your sensitivity is lower than usual, that's your body's way of saying, let's stretch the gap a bit longer. On the other hand, if you go too long without sexual activity and start feeling more restless, tense, or notice that spontaneous erections are becoming rare, that's a clue you might want to shorten the gap slightly. This process is really about self-tuning, adjusting based on feedback from your own performance, mood, and overall vitality, rather than forcing your body into a schedule that isn't natural for you. Think of it the same way you would approach exercise. Steady, sustainable use keeps the system strong, flexible, and ready when you need it most. Now, let's talk about boosting the benefits, because masturbation in later life isn't just about frequency. It's about what you do to support your body before and after. Hydration is a big one. Water keeps your blood volume healthy and your circulation efficient, which directly affects how quickly blood can fill erectile tissue. Even mild dehydration can make your heart work harder and reduce the firmness you can achieve. Regular physical activity also plays a huge role. Even something as simple as a brisk daily walk, light resistance training, or gentle stretching can enhance blood flow and keep your nitric oxide levels higher. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells your arteries to relax and let blood rush in. And then there's sleep. Quality, unbroken sleep allows your testosterone to peak naturally in the morning, which is one reason many men experience their strongest erections shortly after waking. If you're skimping on rest, you're robbing your body of one of its most powerful daily boosts to sexual health. Your diet is the other half of the equation. Leafy greens like spinach deliver magnesium and nitrates to keep blood vessels relaxed. Beets are rich in natural compounds that your body turns into nitric oxide. Salmon offers omega-3s to reduce inflammation and keep blood flowing smoothly. And berries pack antioxidants that protect your blood vessels and nerve pathways from age-related wear and tear. When you combine all of these supportive habits with a balanced, personalized sexual rhythm, you create something far bigger than just good performance. You're building a lifestyle that promotes healthy blood flow, stable hormones, and a resilient nervous system, all of which feed into higher energy, better mood, and even greater longevity. So, what's the safest frequency for masturbation after 60? For most men, every 3 to 5 days is ideal, frequent enough to keep your sexual system active, your prostate healthy, and your mood balanced, but spaced enough to allow for full recovery. But here's the truth. The healthiest frequency is the one that leaves you feeling stronger, more confident, and more alive after, not weaker or more drained. There's no scoreboard, no need to measure yourself against your younger self or anyone else. Your sexuality is still yours. Age doesn't take it away. It just asks you to approach it more intelligently. And when you do, you can continue to enjoy intimacy with yourself and with your partner in a way that supports your health instead of harming it. If you're experiencing pain, significant changes in sexual function, or other concerning symptoms, see your doctor. There's no shame in seeking help. Here's your challenge. Starting this week, try a rhythm of once every 4 days. Pay attention to how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. Notice your energy, your morning wood, your sensitivity. Adjust based on your body's feedback, not some arbitrary rule. And if you want to maximize these results, watch my video on Urologists, How to Masturbate Safely After 60. Avoid these 3 big mistakes. I reveal the exact techniques, the right pressure, and the protective habits that prevent prostate irritation and maximize pleasure. When you combine the right frequency with the right technique, you create a complete system for lifelong sexual health. Link below. Remember, gentlemen, your body is not broken. It's evolving. And when you work with it instead of against it, you can enjoy vitality, pleasure, and confidence for years to come.